So I stayed about 3 years in America, and out of the 3 years I spent 3 months in Hong Kong, Lantau Island, looking after one of his branch monasteries, and another 13 months in Seattle, looking after a new piece of a house that somebody had just donated to the. So during my stay there, I thought to myself that in spite of it being a very ascetic life, that I could take it. I could take all that physical suffering. And I thought that if I could take it for 3 years, I could take it for 30 years. But what was difficult to take was the mental suffering, the anguish sometimes. I saw many of his disciples leave, and some of them sometimes left for weird reasons. Some left without saying a word, and they didn't want to talk about it. But there's a few peculiar cases. There was one of his better known disciples. He had been had this reputation of being very ascetic and reciting this mantra the whole day, so much so that the master said that it was impossible for Mara to penetrate him. And yet one day the master came and announced to the assembly that this disciple had gone mad. Last night he took some excrement and ate it. And without much further discussion of the matter, he was chased out of the monastery, which I found a bit queer, difficult to understand. And there was another occasion. There was this senior most disciple, this monk who came to Kuantan many years ago, this impressive ex-naval officer. He, during one of the discussions, the community discussions, Master Hua had asked the nun to announce to the assembly that he wanted to sell one of the houses in the monastery to a lady from Hong Kong, a very rich woman in her 30s and a divorcee, and wanted to sell it for quite a big sum of money to her. And so when this was brought up in the assembly, this senior most disciple of Master Hua, he was the only disciple who dared to stand up and say something. And he said, we all know this lady, she's a divorcee and has been seen going out with different men. If we sell her this house belongs to her. She can do anything she likes. She can have parties in the house, she can have liquor to drink and all that. We can't stop her because it's her house. So he said, we don't want this money, it's dirty money. Even though it's such a big sum, I don't remember, 100,000 US or more, I forgot. But he said, we should not sell the house in the monastery to a lay person. And this was like a slap in the face to that Master Hua. And I saw him, his face turned pale, but he didn't utter a word. So when this senior disciple spoke his view, other people started to stand up and say similar things. So because so many people objected, so of course he couldn't sell that house to that lady. But 6 months later, he put the senior disciple on a charge, on the Sangha Disesa charge of consistently breaking the precept and not making amends for it, and not acknowledging that you have. So from being the senior most disciple, he was made the least senior disciple. He had to sweep the drain, clean the toilet, stripped off his duties and all that. So after a while, he got the message that the master wanted him out. So he disrobed and left. So it was clear to me it wasn't a fair thing to do to him.